welcome to the Book Over, a little book club where we talk about books, especially the ones that give us book hangovers. I'm Sarah, and with me is Megan.
Hi, everybody.
And today we are talking with another bookstagrammer. Her name is Julia, and her account is Chick Lit is the Shit.
Yes.
Great name.
I love the name. I saw that name and I was like, oh, I like this.
Thank you for being here.
That's like one of the first things people tell me. They're like, I love your name. It's so unique. And I'm like, thank you. It came from a real life situation. I was talking to a male friend of mine, former friend, and you'll see why. And he was trashing romance books. And I was like, no, you're wrong. Chick lit is the shit. And then I was like, wait.
Yeah. I can see why he's a former friend. Ugh.
Yeah, there was other issues too, but that was like that annoyed me. I think you don't have to read romance, but you have to respect it. And people who don't respect it don't deserve my respect, in my opinion.
Very good.
I agree with that. It is, it's the biggest, romance is the biggest seller. People always forget that.
It's wild. There was an article recently, I think it was LA Times, don't quote me on that, but it basically was like, romance readers are literally begging you to take our money, Hollywood, listen up. And I was like, that is so true.
It is very true. It is.
It is so true. I don't understand. They repeat movies over and over again, but they ignore the romance industry. It's very sad.
Yeah. It's also just really stupid. Because literally we're here begging for you to make content so we can buy it. And they're like, no, we rather not.
It's okay. Yeah. I like the books more. So it's like, it's fine.
The books are better. Yeah. Although I did see a trailer for Where the Crawdad.
Oh, yes. They're making a movie.
I did not know that was getting made into a movie. I was like, what? This is going to be a movie? I didn't know that. So that's something.
I actually haven't gotten around to reading it yet, but I've heard incredible things. And I know a lot of people are freaking out about Taylor Swift doing a song for it. So
yeah, I read it. That was one of the book club books that I did with my other friends that I did enjoy that one for the most part. It's a pretty good story overall. Yeah.
It's a good mainstream.
It is. It's a good mainstream. Not much romance in it, but it's got a good story to it. Yeah. So, Julia, we know how you got the name of your Bookstagram account. What made you want to start a Bookstagram?
I think so I started reading contemporary romance in 2019. I was like finishing senior year of high school. I'm like aging myself. I'm showing that I'm younger than people think I am, or older, depending. I have a very young face. But in 2019, I read The Hating Game, which is, a lot of people's first romance book. And then I was like, wow, you can read books and enjoy it, which sounds crazy, but I went to a school where we read the most depressing books ever. And I didn't know that you could read a book and like feel joy and be happy, which sounds crazy now, but that's what it was. So then I started reading them obsessively. And then as the pandemic happened, I was sent home from college, and I would spend all these times explaining to my mom like how books were connected, and I could tell she just didn't care. Like, she was excited that I was excited about something, but I was like, it would be nice if I could explain this to someone who would get it. And so I joined Bookstagram like a lot of people. I wanted to find a community, and I have a background in marketing, and I wanted to build my own brand. And now it's been 7 months, and I think it's going really well, and I'm really enjoying it a lot.
Yeah,
that's great. It's great to see the young. I've always wondered about this, the younger generation getting into books, getting into romance books and chick lit. So that's great. So in college, when I was in college, we weren't, you were reading your textbooks. You weren't really, books weren't going around. What went around, because I'm gonna age myself, 50 Shades of Grey senior year of college for me. That's when that like hit, and that's when we had the first kind of round of that. But that was like the start, I feel like. So I was always very curious if college students are in this new wave of romance.
Yeah, I don't think they have time, really. I mean, I just feel like I remember college.
Yeah, I definitely don't read much during the school year. I will say that.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very hard.
Well, and it seems like so the one of the how we Julia and I connected because I am not the best with social media. And so one day she messaged me and was like, "Hey, did you know you could put links on your stories?" And I was like, I did not know that. And so she showed me how to put links on my stories and then how I can share us directly from Spotify to my stories. And I was just like, oh, okay. So that's what got us talking. And I was like, this is amazing. So like you have a really, how do you stay up to date on your social media, like on that background? Like, how do you do that? Because I don't have the time, or I guess the wish to spend the time to look at like what is the new thing that I can do. So like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, and I was so worried when I first texted you about it because I don't want to give unsolicited advice, but it frustrates me because like I know that there's so many things that could help smaller accounts, and this was before you guys like hit 1,000, and I was like, this would really, really help. So I was like, okay, slide into the DMs and say something. The worst they can say is like, screw you, but that's never happened. But to answer your question, I listened to a couple of social media podcasts. One is called Social Media Marketing, very standard. That tells a lot of tips. I watched some YouTubers, like there's Vanessa Lau and there's some other people too. I also follow a couple social media accounts on Instagram who give tips on like new features on Instagram. And besides that, I'm on the platform a lot. So I learn a lot from that. And then I've also learned from my various internships.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't say that we learn it in class. Like we don't really, we talk about social media in my marketing courses, but it's not like extensive.
Huh. Yeah. You would think they would go a little more into it with how it seems like social media is so important in marketing these days.
It's a big frustration, trust me.
It's probably older professors. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in actually a social media class. It's literally called social media. And our professor spends almost every class showing us a documentary about how social media is evil.
Oh,
which, no. I get it, because it is in some ways, but also you're supposed to teach us on how we can use social media to leverage brands and get jobs, not tell us how it's evil and ruining the world. Like we know that. Like we know that you have to be responsible on it, but it's ridiculous.
Wow, that's really interesting. Well, I mean, I can see it. I definitely can see it. I like that they're teaching both. I feel like they should teach both aspects. Like, let's do it responsibly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's very.
It is. It's very cool that you're going to school, that that's even something for school, and then that you're taking it upon yourself to like do it outside of school, because it's obviously something that it's like your talent, you know, so that's awesome. And you could tell with your account too. So like you started this new thing, and I haven't been able to do it yet because all the dates that it's available, I'm not. But you started these buddy reads, and so what made you start wanting to do, can you tell us like what the buddy reads are and like why you started them?
Yeah, okay. So like literally my first week on Bookstagram, my friend, who her username is @booksandbooze_day, booze as in like BOOZE, she DM'd me saying, hey, I love your username. That was the first thing she said. And I would love to do a buddy read with you sometime. And I said, what is a buddy read? Because I had no clue. And she basically explained that it's instead of like a full book club where you would read a bunch of stuff, you read like one book together and you post about it and you tag each other. And I was like, this is cool. And then also in that first week, I made like my first post, my first or my second, and like actual authors contributed and like commented on it, which I was like, this is insane, because I had under 10 followers, and Allison Cochran liked to post, Susanna Nix, like people who are pretty big. I mean, Allison was new, but like her book was like a very anticipated book at the time. And I was like, wow, if I, as a really, really small person who was new, could get these authors to talk to me via DM or commenting on my post, how cool would it be if we involved them in the process? So I did 2 buddy reads where we didn't have the author, it was just readers, and we didn't even do a Zoom, we just had a Google chat, like an Instagram chat where we talked about it. But then eventually I was like, let's do this with authors. So I pitched Susanna Nix, and I got in touch with her assistant, Tammy. And from there, it's kind of like, it's pushed off, and it's been really, really cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
good,
that's
good for
great.
you. Yeah, they look really neat, and I'm always interested in the books because they're the books that you like. I feel like are more of my Hair of the Books kind of books. They're on the like sweeter side of romance, so I tend to like a little bit more of like the darker, like bully enemies kind of thing. So, but it looks like a fun thing, especially like with the author there too, to like do a little chat with everybody. That's impressive to get them, because we know how it is to contact them and talk them into it. So good job.
It's so exciting when you get them. Yes,
it's the best. I think it really was. Because the first thing I did was with Susanna Nixon, was with like my normal email, and I DM'd them first. But then after that, I was like, let me make a dedicated email. And then after that, that really like helped a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I just had an event with Tessa Bailey on Friday, which was huge.
That's exciting. Congrats.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So do you have any tips for other bookstagrammers out there?
Yeah, I would say that, because I'm also an avid fan, like I just love seeing other people's accounts. And what I've seen works the best for everyone is if they find their niche and they stick to it. So like for me, I think my niche is that I definitely do spicy books. You'll be right that there definitely are like sweet, like there's not as many dark themes, like but they're still like not clean romance either. Yeah. So I think my niche is like I try to focus on like spicy, sweet romance books that have diverse characters is like my forefront. It's really, really important to me. Also, queer representation. I'm bisexual, and I really think it's important to have that in books. And so I think that's kind of my niche. And my niche is also that I like to bring readers together, and that I make like lists that make reading romance a little bit easier for someone who hasn't read it before. And I have gotten a lot of comments from people where they're like, oh, your like pick list really helped me because I was able to find something I liked. And that makes me so happy, because that's what I want to do. I want to make content that helps new people and old people find books that they've never heard about in the genre.
Yeah. I always like that. I mean, that's why I use Bookstagram originally for my other account, was like looking for book suggestions, and then you're following other people and they're like, I liked this book, or here, like if you like this one, you might like these ones, so that's an awesome thing to do. Yeah, helpful.
Yeah, same.
It's the best.
So do you have a current favorite read right now that you recommend for others?
Okay, well, my current read at the moment is The Shahini Setup by Lily Vale, which is really good. But my last 5-star read was A Proposal They Can't Refuse by Natalie Kanya, it comes out on May 24th.
Okay.
And I was lucky enough to get an ARC. They sent books to a lot of like Latinx creators, so I was like, oh my god. And they're Puerto Rican, and Puerto Ricans are like our cousins, like Cubans. They stole our flag to honor us. It's like a whole thing. But I love it so much. It's my current favorite trope at the moment is fake dating. Like I've realized that like the past books I've liked in the past, like my favorite top 5 reads in the past like 3 months have all been fake dating. So I didn't realize how much I liked it. Yeah. I thought I was an enemies to lovers person like everyone, but I really like fake dating, especially if it has aspects of enemies to lovers. And this book was about like 2 childhood friends. Well, they were childhood friends, and then they like grew apart. And one of them is Irish American, the other one's Puerto Rican American, and their grandpas are like love to like matchmake them and want them to get together. So they like basically persuade them into like getting married so that they would not sell a property. It's like ridiculous and would never happen in real life, but it's super fun and cute, and it's just adorable. I love it so much, and it's the start of a new series and its debut author, and I'm very, very excited about it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That sounds good. One to put on the TBR for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thank you. I hope everyone enjoyed our talk with Julia, and all of her, suggestions for Bookstagram and her background and stuff. And it's just like, it's awesome to see like, just like, even, college students enjoying the book world and like reaching out and the community. Like that's like Megan and I.
Yeah.
Right. We're just all about the community of the book world right now. And it just makes us so happy to be able to connect. So thank you, Julia, for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I feel like just everyone, if you want to make a Bookstagram, make one. It doesn't have to be the most successful thing in the world. It can be a teeny account, but you can meet some like incredible people and make like lifelong friends. Like I've met some people who were like determined to meet up, and like I'm very, very excited. It's very cool.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty neat world.
Totally agree.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Bookover. Bye.
Bye.